WWE, do you even care about how you present your show? Because Raw was complete garbage. You know, rinse and repeat. You know, same fucking matches every week. These two went together. They had a banger match. Let's book them again. Uh, Stupid in ring segments, childish horseshit. Am I watching, WWE, or am I watching Pee Wee's Playhouse or something that you would see on Nickelodeon? These are all grown men. You know what I mean? And women, and they're made to act like, children. You know, I mean, this thing. I should call it a thing because you might as well call Raw a thing. You know, it opens up with Bobby Lashley, and he's in a ring, says his usual shit. Goldberg's music hits. Is Lashley scared? Does Goldberg intimidate Lashley? And all along, the crowd wants Wyatt. We want Riot. Wyatt, I should say. They should want Riot too, and Ruby Riot. They should have her come back too. They should want her to be back. They cheer his name. Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. He was released. Yeah, I like when people are saying that they're shocked that he got released. Shocked at what? Maybe the timing and how it just all of a sudden we hear he's released. That's a shock. Yeah, sure. But should we be surprised? Should we be surprised that he got released? Every time they bring him back, how ridiculous does he look? How does his booking make any sense? They saddle him with Alexa Bliss, which they were actually a good team. Alexa Bliss even tweeted how much she enjoyed working with him, and he made her a better person, a better wrestler, a better performer. But that they were grooming her to be the eventual successor to the Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse. Look at her now. It's her, the makeup, the gimmick, the supernatural stuff, and she has Alexa's playground. What do you call it? Are we thing? Are we surprised? Why are you surprised? Why? Goldberg's in there, and then to continue, and he says he lives by the spear, and that Lashley's gonna die by the spear, and at SummerSlam he's next. You will be next, he said. Next for what? The next person to pin you, and so you don't win the title, and then you're gonna go back home, and you'll come back next year for your 2 matches a year, right? Yet they're gonna keep him, and they're gonna leave. They're gonna let Bray Wyatt go. Why? Even Bray's don't know if they're married yet or they're fiancés or whatever, but JoJo Offerman. How long has JoJo been gone? And I was listening to a thing, and she's been gone for something like 8 months or something like that. They already released her. If I'm hearing that person right that I was listening to. She's the mother of 2 of his kids. Why? Why is it like they're acting like they just released her now? Officially, I guess WWE made it official. But she's been gone. She hasn't been around. We haven't seen her at all. Where's she been? And then Lashley and MVP, they confront Goldberg's son Gage. Did he have a growth spurt? When did Goldberg come back? In 2011? 2010? How long ago was that? Because his son seemed to grow quite a bit. I'm like, he's ready to wrestle in the ring. He looks, who knows? He probably is training. I don't know. I mean, when MVP and Lashley confronted him, he was almost the same height as Lashley. So the kid's got his dad's size and his dad's height. He's probably still gonna grow into his size, and he's gonna be one big motherfucker. And he's gonna be the next Goldberg. You know what I mean? But MVP's doing that, and then he gets speared for his effort. Simply because Pops Goldberg there doesn't want to, hear him berating his son. So that's that. That's that segment. and it's made official that that match is going to be taking place at SummerSlam. Whoa, really? Now, 2-on-1 handicap match with McIntyre versus Veer and Shanky. No one man can defeat two men simultaneously, says Corey Graves. But I do remember Drew being in a 1-on-2 handicap match, maybe even more than one. But I remember the last one. I forget who was it. Miz and Morrison that he handedly took care of. I forgot who it was, but yeah, he took them both out. He took two men out. Why does any of these commentators act like we don't remember what happened maybe a few months ago? Or maybe it's just the fact that they're getting McMahon and all these other people in their ears, and it's maybe causing them to be confused or causing them to sound stupid on the thing, you know. But he takes them both on, and a steel chair is introduced in the ring by Jinder Mahal, and the ref calls for the bell, and all three men have chairs ready. But then Drew McIntyre, he retrieves his sword that he named Angela. Pretty much he said that, commentator said that it's named after his mom. Who gives a fuck? That doesn't make it sound any less retarded to call a sword Angela. What is this, man? Are you guys seriously imitating AEW with Jericho and his bat he calls Floyd? Like, are you guys really that, like, yeah, we want to do what they do? It's ridiculous. Even when but what do you call it? But when Jericho says that, it's funny and it actually makes sense, and it's just like the way he uses it. It's like, okay, but you're gonna call a sword, Angela. But who cares if it's named after your mom? It doesn't make it sound less stupid. We put a name that's homage to his mom, so it makes it sound more, No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Now, Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley, and Jax promises that she will do worse than what Drew did with the sword. Okay, and then it got brutal and bloody. It sure did. Jackson's left eye, above her left eye, was cut, and she was bloody on one side. It looked like she was wearing a crimson mask type of thing on one side. It goes all red, But she's then rolled up because she got distracted or something, and is pinned. And then we see Jackson Baszler about to implode. When are they going to pull the trigger on that and stop with the delay? And then Ripley delivers a very impressive riptide on Jax, picks her up. Pretty impressive, but we all know that Rhea is a pretty strong chick, so that shouldn't even surprise us. Now, Mason T-Bar, this generation's what do you call it? Ascension 2.0, I should call them. And it's a rinse and repeat, like I said earlier about booking a same match. And Mason T-Bar, in my opinion, like I said, they are the Ascension 2.0, but they do get the win. Whoop-de-doo. They get the pin victory. Does anybody care? I think people were snoring. There's some guys like this. And I think I actually seen seats, miraculously disappear. The people just started disappearing miraculously. I think it was, you know what I mean? Like, meaning people were getting up and leaving. You talk about the women used to be the piss break and the snack and concession stand break. That's Mason T-Bar. And that's a shame because they're pretty impressive, especially Dominic Dijakovic, who plays T-Bar. I think he needs to dump that. I wish WWE would dump that stupid gimmick because it really sucks. And now the Queen is in the ring. Yeah, Charlotte Flair, whose dad requested his release from WWE. He said he never would leave WWE. Oh, but he's gone. Is he going to go and join AEW? Maybe he's going to have someone he's going to manage. Maybe he'll manage, Andrade, his son-in-law, or future son-in-law. I don't know if he and Charlotte are married yet. But I know Vicky Guerrero is managing him. But is he going to join the group? Because he already has Tully Blanchard there, and he already has Arn Anderson. All they need is Ole Anderson, or they need Barry Windham to be there. Then the whole Four Horsemen will be there, united. But she's in the ring, and then she stops the Becky chance because they started with the chance in, and she says that, well, she wasn't the one that sold out the Allstate Arena where they're at in Chicago. And she's the one that sold it out, not Becky. Now, she talks of the Money in the Bank and how she has been cashed in on not once, not twice, but 3 times. And each time she's introducing the kendo stick and the steel chair, which she promised to beat Nikki with. And while the queen is yapping, from behind she's nailed with a chair by the champ, Nikki a.s.h. Nikki a.s.h. Luckily, I guess that's the reason why they started making them say a.s.h, because, like I said, Byron Saxton is a buffoon who kept saying Nikki ass, like he couldn't say the H. And remember, I brought it up in my past video that even other words that have H's in them, he wasn't able to say H. So he has a problem. I guess he has a speech impediment or something. Like he can't say H's. You know? It sounds stupid when you're saying Nikki ass. You know what I mean? Well, this isn't a porn. You call him Nikki ass for? Like, how can you pronounce it that way? Make sure you enunciate the H's there, Byron. But you don't have to worry about that now because they say a.s.h. Now, Piper Niven, like I said, I'll never say that stupid name that they saddled her with now. She looks sad about the injury to Natalya, you know, the backstage. And then that waste of ring space, I will say it again, Eva interrupts her, Eva Marie, and she has the nerve to make light of Piper's past. Like, she's like going, oh, you know, before I came along, she was alone probably. She was living on a farm. Yeah, she was alone living on a farm in NXT UK, dominating the women in that division. On her way, almost coming close to becoming the NXT Women's Champion. But they want to keep belittling her. Yeah. You see how good she is in the ring. You know. But here, you know, Piper Niven takes on Tamina. Tamina's looking for some payback because Natalya's legit injured. She got injured. She had surgery. According to the commentators and it's like that, it's not bad. It says that she has some ligaments torn or something, so that's gonna heal. Possibly like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're probably gonna heavily tape up the her legs so that she can be able to take bumps and all that stuff. Okay, that's good to hear. She's, you know, Natalya's one of my all-time favorites just because I met her at an Access and she was one of the sweetest people that I ever met. Talked for about 5 minutes. She couldn't be more kinder, give me more time, and I know she did that with all her fans, and that's why we love her. I just hate the way she's being booked, especially her and Tamina. You know, they were baby faces, now they're heels, and they force it too much when they're heels. It's like it's hard for them to be heels naturally. Like baby faces, they're great, and people were loving them, and then now it's just like you could give a fuck or care less, you know. But Tamina delivers an impressive Samoan drop. She picks up Piper Niven and she's able to get the victory. And then Alexa drops in via the Tron and it proclaims that the loser is Eva Marie. You know, when Eva Marie was head that shit. I was surprised that Eva Marie didn't take credit for the loss. How come she's taking credit for the win? She should be taking credit for the loss because she's the one that caused Piper Niven to be distracted. Piper Niven's gonna go for that crossbody when the opponent's on the ground, right on the mat. And then she tells her, oh no, go for the thing, go for it. Look, she was going to go for it, and then you stopped her, and then she distracted her, and that's why Tamina was able to get the victory, get the drop on her. Now, Miss TV, I'm going to be frank here, and if you don't like language, you know, fast forward this a little bit, because they're fucking annoying. And Damian Priest can't even save this train wreck. Mrs. Wheelchair, this is what the stupid asshole, what do you call it, Ms. Morrison said. He goes, Mrs. Wheelchair and the dripstick will be in the Museum of Modern Moistness. Fucking A, man. What does that fucking mean? Why in the hell are you saying that shit with the moist and all that? Even Corey Graves was like something like you're saying something like this and this, and then he goes and the moist in the moistness in the moistness or something like that, or it's moist. And I'm going, what? Does he fucking prematurely come in his fucking pants? Why are you guys talking? What does moistness mean? The stupid dripsticks? You know, you get what I'm saying? It's how stupid it sounds. How immature it is. Like, am I watching Nickelodeon? Am I watching a raunchy fucking comedy? You know? Like, what does that mean? And then Corey Graves is acting like, you know, a fucking, you know, a goddamn, what do you call it? A fucking fan. You know, in the sense that he's just so into it, and he has to reiterate everything that that you know, about the moistness and all that shit. America's most moist. Moist wanted, I guess that's what it says. You know, moist wanted. And then Morrison with his cadence, when he talks, he has to talk like this because he's not a human being, he's a robot. You know, like the guy can't cut a promo to save his fucking life. All y'all don't like my fucking language, I don't give a fuck. Raw was fucking stupid. It was so stupid. They're wasting all this fucking talent on this horse shit. And it's like they can't do anything that even looks like something that's you know, that's entertaining. And like I said, anyone who's entertained by shit entertained by this shit can kiss my ass. And I'm not gonna watch another segment. When it's another segment with these guys or a match, I'm gonna fast forward it because they are the worst. They are so childish. They are so like immature. They're like Miz with his stupid fucking look like this when Damian Priest is like threatening them. He looks like these little snot-nosed little kids that are like bullies in school, and then when they get cornered, they're like frightened with their stupid bug eyes and shit. And then we get Priest versus Morrison, and then Priest wins. You know, he hits that South of Heaven choke slam, and then Sheamus comes in and gets a piece of Priest, and then Ricochet comes in to get him some of Sheamus. You know, and then it becomes a tag match. Of course it does, because every time someone's in a one-on-one match, someone interferes, and then his friend comes along. It's going to be, of course, it's going to be a tag team match. Of course, why wouldn't it be? And did they press rewind and play the same result? I mean, South of Heaven chokeslam was the first caused the first pinfall, by Priest, but then he pinned Morrison again, but this time he hit the Reckoning. So was this basically a repeat of the last match where he pinned Morrison? Morrison must feel like a fucking complete loser because he lost twice. You couldn't at least give him like the second match at least, you know? But then we're gonna have a rubber match next week because they each have the victory. Oh, we gotta get that third decisive victory, right? And then backstage, Lashley's out to annihilate Goldberg, and he hopes his son Gage is there to witness it. Then we get Riddle versus Omos. And Omos proclaimed backstage that Riddle's scooter was first and Riddle's spine was next. And he may have snapped his spine by delivering a choke bomb, and he pins Riddle. Don't know where AJ was, but Omos was on his own, and he had a entrance theme. It sounded pretty slick. It was pretty cool. I like this entrance theme. And he continues to dominate and look impressive in the ring. But what do you expect when he towers over all his opponents? The guy better be dominant, or else that's a project with him that's a failure. And you know what I mean? Like Kevin Nash and some of these other people were working with him on Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions. Nash was working with him prior to the pandemic, and when the pandemic happened, things just they weren't able to continue, something like that. But he was working with him, and so you can see why some of that stuff is rubbing off on him, being trained by guys like that. Now, Lily Lucian, along with Alexa Bliss, is attacked by Piper. Well, Piper Niven was the only one that took it out. Eva again, she didn't do shit. And then we see Lily rise up, and then I'm looking at her. I'm thinking, I hope you get to Eva and you make her pay. You know, she is continuing to shit the bed every week, and I don't care what anybody says. Karrion Kross enters the ring, and he goes at it again with Keith Lee. Yet another rinse and repeat of last week. Will Lee lose again and make it, 3 in a row since returning? Now, why book this again? Lee needs to rebuild his wins, and we all know Kross is being booked to look stronger ever since his debut squashing at the hands of Jeff Hardy. They made him beat him because he got his theme song back. No more words. Was that it? I think so, right? That's what a lot of people are thinking. Yeah, it's a really good reason why you want to make somebody look bad in their debut match. The NXT champion, the poster child of what Vince McMahon hates. And then we got a spirit bomb. Holy shit. Lee hits the spirit bomb and he picks up a victory. Really? Well, at least he's not back on track, right? Now separate these two. Separate them and let them face others. It's done already. Unless they want to do the rubber match next week. They each have a victory over each other, right? Isn't it? Right? Their first week back, they lost. Then the next week, Karrion Kross beat Lee. This week, Lee beat Karrion Kross. Guarantee you it's going to happen. You watch. Now, Ripley's backstage and she says she'll be watching the No Holds Barred match between Nikki and Charlotte, and no matter the outcome, she's confident that she will walk out champion at SummerSlam. You can only hope. She walks out or Nikki retains. I don't want Charlotte to win that title again. If she does, please let her hold it on for more than 2 weeks. I know the Money in the Bank cash in. Okay, that's something that was going to happen. Okay, whatever, it happened because that was the threat. But when she wins it again, she better hold that title for 300 some odd days. Why not? Holy crap! Now Reggie. Or Reginald. He was formerly Reginald, now he's Reggie. He defends his 24/7 championship, and he has seemingly lost his accent. Especially after Carmella no longer needed him as his sommelier, his wines connoisseur, his, It's funny, man. It's like a thing, flashback to like Kofi Kingston. He's no longer of Jamaican descent. He's now from Ghana, West Africa, where he actually was born. He loses his accent, and now he's Kofi Kingston. He's not the Bumbaklat top, Jamaican, accent. Now he loses his accent, Reggie, and he loses his name and shortens it to Reggie. Now, like whatever, and then he's defending against Tozawa. Damn, is there no one else in this damn division? You have so many people on the sidelines. You can't get somebody, even if it's a who gives a shit, a person that we don't really care about, but at least that person's going to be different. How about somebody from the damn 205 Live? I haven't watched 205 Live for like maybe 2-3 years, and I'm like, who's that? Because I'll catch a glimpse, like thumbnails or stuff like that, and I'm going, or someone will say, oh, this guy's from 205 Live. I go, who's that? But how about that? Give him a rub. People will go, oh, who's that? He'll give Reggie a run for his money. And I gotta admit that Reggie actually makes it a little bit interesting to watch the 205, the 24/7 thing, because at least it's not on Truth for the 95th time. Still, it's a shitty title, but at least they did something with this, and they made it where it's and then they're defending the title every week. So I guess they're having confidence in Reggie now. So they're gonna showcase him every week. He has a long way to go, but they're doing something right with him when it comes to his training. The guy looks good in the ring, but he's in possession of a who gives a shit title, where they seemingly don't have nobody else. Well, let's just put it on these guys. Let's have these guys wrestle, but nobody else. They got 500 fucking people signed to the company, and they only use 5 or 10. A little exaggeration, I know, not 500. They got maybe 100 people, 80 people, however many, but I know it's probably like that much. But then they don't even use like even a quarter of their talent. And if they do it, it's on Main Event or it's on 205 Live or whatever. We don't watch those things, man. Who watches those? I'm not saying nobody does, but it's like we won't know who these guys are because they're on wrestling there, and it's just like they even use the ones that people want pushed, stuff like that, and they're like on Main Event and all that stuff. But and this is the one that really makes me want to slap the what out of Corey Graves. Jimmy Smith said that going after Reggie is like the Keystone Cops, where the Keystone Cops, how they would chase after people and they would be spinning around and get that music going, right? And then they can't catch the culprit, because they're such a fumbling, police force, right? And stuff. And then here's Corey Graves goes, Jimmy, you just gave a 20-year reference. If I heard it correctly, I hope I didn't hear it correctly, but the Keystone Cops ran from like 1912 to 1917. I think that's more than 100 years ago. And he said 20 years ago. What Keystone Cops did you watch? Did you watch a remake of the Keystone Cops? Like Corey Graves is that young-minded that he doesn't know that the Keystone Cops were like in existence like 100 years ago. Silence. I think it was silent movies, silent thing, And he said it's a 20-year reference. I think somebody said that a long time ago. Somebody made a thing and they said that, oh, that's this, that, and I go, you can be closer to the truth that it happened way beyond that, before that. He honestly said 20 years. I hope I have to, clean the wax out of my ears because maybe I didn't hear him correctly. 20 years ago? 20 years ago, that was 2021. That means 2001. 2001. And, 20-year reference. Nobody, even 20 years ago, nobody knew who the Keystone Cops are. The only reason why I know is because when I was a kid, they would play those, the Little Rascals, Three Stooges, all that stuff on TV. But it was already in reruns for like 20 years at that point. I'm talking about reruns. I'm not talking about when they were first run. I'm not that old. Jesus Christ. Even my aunt and even my grandparents weren't even born at that time, and if they were, they're only like a few years old. Well, I think they were born at that time, but they were, they were kids. I mean, they probably remember, but at the same time, they were raised in the Philippines, so I don't think they saw the Keystone Cops. But let's just move on. Oh God. Let's talk about the last woman standing match. Last woman standing match between Nikki Cross and Asuka for the NXT Women's Title. And they're interviewing her backstage, and they say, "Nikki, have you ever been in a match such as a no holds barred match?" And she says, "No." But let's forget the last women's standing match, one of the best matches they had in NXT, where Nikki almost won the women's title. Asuka just lucked out because she was on a stack of, like, I believe those were pallets, and all she did was roll off the pallet. 9, she rolls up the pallet and she just ends up rolling into a stand. Like, she rolls off it and she ends up standing up. 10, she won. That's how close she got to winning defending her title from Nikki Cross. She came close to beating her, and she never been in a match like that. I guess on TV. I guess on the main roster. I guess not, because they forget NXT. I forget. Yeah, I forget. And enough about the getting upset at how the Money in the Bank holders use it to steal championships. Man, Corey Graves was in a damn tizzy. And I'm going, that's how it's set up. What do you expect? Enough of that horse shit. The fact that you guys get mad, and I'm going, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? And then you guys are not mad at the obvious thing, where it's just like Charlotte getting title shots all the time and becoming champion all the time. You're not mad at that, but you're mad at the fact that something that is legal, because it is legal, because the contract says you have that contract, you have that briefcase, you cash it in, and you become champion. You could become champion. I'm not saying that you always can become champion, but 80% when it comes to the men, 100% for the women, they've cashed in successfully each time, but that's how it is. Stop saying that shit. And then this is match, right? This is the match. Nikki Cross versus Charlotte for the in a no holds barred match. Very physical, very brutal. Nikki Cross, I'm telling you, she's booked to look weak. She's better than this, and unfortunately Charlotte has to be made to look dominant. And at least Charlotte didn't get back up, because she ran through herself trying to spear a Nikki, and she ends up throwing herself into a table, breaking it in half. Beautiful. There's no I am the table with that spot. And at least she didn't get up right away, because man, I think they do that seriously, and it's so dumb, but they do it because they want to make the person look strong. Like, they want to make Charlotte look strong, that she gets hit with a devastating move and she's able to get up because she's such a tough chick. But no, it makes the people that say that wrestling's fake, it makes them look, like they know what they're talking about, when we know it's not fake. It's predetermined. We all know that shit. But when you got people like her, and even other people in wrestling that are able to get up right after they get hit by a dominating move, it doesn't make them look tough. It makes the move look really ridiculously phony or fake. You gotta at least sell it. You gotta at least sell it. At least she sold this. At least she sold it. But in the end, Nikki hits. She pins Charlotte after she hits a hanging DDT off the second rope. Lets the person hang there, like how Randy Orton, how he does that. But then she does it wasn't a DDT. I'm sorry. She does the spinning neck breaker. And that's that. The only other thing I didn't mention is like news is that Adam Cole's contract is about to expire, and there's people are saying that can he compete at All Out? I think there's some time for before AEW's All Out pay per view debuts. They're probably saying that because if Adam Cole does leave, he has a 90-day clause. Of course, who knows? He might not have one, but if he does, he might be able to make it. But I'm not sure. I forget when All Out is, which I hope is better this year than last year because last year sucked shit, sucked dick, sucked dogs fucking shit. I mean, dog balls, whatever you want to call it. It was awful. But you know, that was Raw. And Raw was like raw sewage, like raw garbage, like raw garbage juice. It was everything negative because of the whole thing of rinse and repeat, the whole thing of booking the same people, whole thing of like not using your talent wisely. All this stuff. Old timers coming back to get title shots, releasing people who are so, dominating and so devastating and so like, given an amazing, what do you call it, an amazing gimmick. And they're like, we don't even have no need for that. WWE is really shit in the bed because they got rid of Aleister Black. He's Malachi Black in AEW, and he looks like he's money. He's going to be their top heel and more likely going to be their top superstar, just top wrestler in that promotion. They're getting rid of. They got rid of Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. I don't know what's he gonna go by, what name. But maybe he should be Wyndham Rotunda so that he could bring back some, what's the word? But bring back like the believability of their last name. Believability. I'm trying to say what name I could say, but bring back some respect to that name. Blackjack Mulligan, his grandfather. Mike Rotundo, his father, who WWE fans in the 80s and 90s know as he was what do you call it? He was IRS tag team champion along with $1 Million Man. He was known as what's that? Michael Wall Street, something like that in Mr. Wall Street in WCW. But that guy's a legend. His father's a legend, and then him, in the makings of a legend. He had an amazing, gimmick. And they just basically said, we don't give a fuck. You go ahead. Man. Who else is WWE going to release, right? And keep relying on, they talk about WWE is unable to build future stars. You know why? Because they keep relying on Goldberg and relying on The Rock and all these other people. Well and good when it comes to like maybe putting a newer talent over, but you gotta build on the guys that you got, the young guys. Not even the young guys, even the guys that come to WWE and they've been in the indies for like 20 years or 15 years, and they need to get they should get their limelight and their time in the sun. No, all these people that they have coming, you know what I mean? Like I said, I hated Raw. I like to sometimes try to give them a benefit of the doubt, but there's no way giving them anything right now. Like sometimes I'll like something and I won't like something, but I didn't like nothing on this show. I don't know what the hell they did. I don't know why they did what they did on some of the things. Goldberg looks like $1 million. He's still in great shape, despite the fact that he's in his 50s now. But does anybody want to see him anymore? Look at his son. Right? How about Goldberg, if he is training his son, if his son is training, I don't know how old his son is, how about we focus his attention on his son and maybe build up his son, if his son's going to be a wrestler, But that's all I can say about Raw, which isn't much. I think I've cussed and I've cursed and I may have offended different groups because of some of the words I used. Didn't mean to. But I apologize if any of you got offended. I'm not out to offend anybody, but I just let my mind go and then let the words come out of my mouth. I'll try better not to do that in the future, but you know what? If I come upon a show shitty like this, it's gonna happen. But anyway, that's my rundown and thoughts on Monday Night Raw for the 2nd of August 2021. I definitely got the thing right, the date right. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it and I thank you. And in closing, as always, take care.